to the Face Downs, your source for TCG news and all things Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm Lucas.
I'm Ruben.
Yeah, and I'm Joe.
You son of a... I hate you.
You are so shady. And welcome to the Face Downs After Dark.
Didn't even join in there. I'm just like way off the pace.
Yeah, doll. You're
Joe's like, I'm living it up.
wild and out, doll.
7 a.m. where you are, right, Joe?
Yeah.
You're in
Yeah, 7 a.m.
in Canada,
in the UK. I
Yeah,
don't know.
correspondent. What's it like over there?
It is. I don't
Oh,
know.
we could have made a Guadalajara joke actually, live from Guadalajara. You're late to the YCS, I hear. You missed it.
Yeah, missed it.
Shame.
Already been. Something
Yeah,
one.
well,
I don't know what. Probably Adventure.
You
Or was
X1?
it?
I thought so.
This unplayable structure deck.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't consider it meta personally.
Or why would you buying this?
No.
Don't spend your money on sealed.
A structure deck? Those are for
Child.
beginners. Those are for new players.
Those are for kids.
Yeah.
Y'all don't need those.
Speaking
Welcome
of
back,
structure
everyone.
decks,
Welcome back. We are here with another episode. We're doing an After Dark. It is currently 9:30 in the evening.
After dark. That's probably like normal hours for most podcasts, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I
Yeah.
listen to a lot of people who speak like that mid-morning, afternoon.
Nah, let's do it.
I would love to in future, if we ever are this torturous to ourselves, I would love to do one where we've just woken up.
No.
No. Yeah. Just no. Yeah.
Cool.
Moving on.
Yes, and yeah.
All right, you carry. I need to get a glass of water. You keep going.
That's so fun. Just immediately shot down by my lovely co-hosts. Thanks, guys. But Joe, how are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. We just came off a winner box in Palmy. What
You mean winner virus?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. But yeah, the winner got COVID. That was a good tournament. It was about 15 odd players there. And Ken won it with a sort of like dragon pile deck.
Evil is what I would have described
yeah,
the deck.
But no one really cares
pure evil.
anymore because finally we have the Albaz structure deck in.
I know.
In
We can
New
all stop
Zealand.
playing terrible decks. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's
And
like
play terrible
was it
decks with
Drytron
Mirror Jade.
with DPE. I mean, come on. What
DP
a-
who?
Grow up.
Yeah, what's
Oh,
the DPE? Does
Who-
anyone
what's
use that
that?
anymore?
It's probably still pretty good, right?
During phase end.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
like
know.
what all the things do, yeah.
It's a card that everyone's going to realize is like still good in a couple
Yeah,
of weeks.
eventually.
And then go
Girl,
back to playing
It ain't
alongside
bad.
branded.
That card, stay good. But yes, Joe is correct. We are now proud owners of the Albaz Strike structure deck.
Welcome to hell, baby.
Welcome to, the doors.
Yeah.
What was the first structure deck you could have bought 3 of and played it out the gate?
Me?
No, just in general, like in history. What was the
Uh,
first structure deck where you could go 3 of and I don't need
Oh, I
anything?
thought you meant like what's the first structure deck you ever bought?
That's a great question too.
I had
I'm gonna
I had
run
Exod
yes and.
growing up, 1 copy, and I had the Infernal Flame Emperor one. The,
I
like,
had
dumbass fire dude.
I what with the dragons one, the one with the masked dragon, and I can't even remember the name of
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Dragons.
I definitely had
Collide,
started
something
at
like that.
Yugi as well.
I
back in the
had,
day.
I think mine was Warrior Strike, which was
Yeah,
good for the
Warrior Strike.
legend. I do Stan. And then I was always jealous my cousin had the one with Dark Eradicator Warlock, which I still think is one of the
Yeah.
best looking cards to this day.
There's only one other structure deck you could just buy 3 of and play, and it was Monarch one.
I'm pretty sure you could also buy 3 of Lost World.
Yeah,
But no,
yeah.
you need like the synchros and stuff. Like
No, you
what I'm
don't.
saying is like just you need 3 structure decks, show up to a regional and like pop.
Oh, I mean, in the same context that like you need Alibas to play branded.
But the thing is you don't. Like I think you could definitely just get away with I'll just draw branded fusion as a play. I mean, it's pretty likely.
I mean,
Also,
you-
you have it in the deck.
I think you could definitely like build something out of the pre-structure decks that is somewhat competitive at a hobby league. Like,
Yeah.
Mirror Jade's still a card, right? And like you also get like a bad version of Aluba in the deck as well. I'm pretty sure, like
Yeah, you
Spriggan's
do, and
Kit,
it's
I believe.
searchable from Mercuria. So like, there's a lot of ways to at least recur your resources.
Yeah, so
I
I
know.
think you know.
I'm talking about the Alba Strike structure deck, which finally landed in New Zealand. So to anyone listening overseas, this is obviously old news.
Very old.
Yeah.
news, yeah.
Sorry that we're tardy to the party.
It is kind of sad, I guess, in a way, to get a deck late because we don't even get like the honeymoon period with the deck. We're already kind of sick of it, and we haven't even got a chance to play with it. But we're all
I'm
kind
not
of like,
gonna lie. I don't think we've had a honeymoon period with this deck. at all because we immediately saw how problematic it was in Japan.
No, but I don't know. There's always a moment where TCG gets to play with the new toys, and it's fun for like a few days because you just kind of play the matchup over and over again. And then after a week, you're like, ugh, I'm so sick of Mirror Jade Pass. But I feel like I'm already just so over Mirror Jade Pass.
It's day 2.
I haven't seen it. I've not even seen the card be summoned.
You know,
know?
I mean, yeah, I'm still kind of looking forward to it. Like, I've been on Despia since Dharma. So, like, I guess for me, it's nice to see a deck finally be good that I picked up. Thanks, B Troopers ruined my, you know.
Just wait for that OCG support. I promise you. As someone with holding on to an ulti Doom Dozer, I promise you it'll be good. I promise.
Yeah, so, and please bring out a Cosmo Yoda. That one hasn't been yet, right? That one hasn't been?
No.
I can just
No, we
confirm
do
that?
not have. We don't have a
that
Yoda
yet.
character. Which,
Yeah.
to be honest, total tangent. We absolutely should have one because we don't have the wizard from the Wizard of Oz as a character in Cosmo.
Never printed another Cosmo card.
But that's what I mean. Is it's like that they should because
Cosmo
they never.
Link one, please.
For what?
I don't know. Just
Cosmo Town.
something. Yeah.
Link on the Decision of the Field spell. Yeah.
Cosmo Town's like not even good.
Whoa, take that back.
As someone who might own 3 Dark Destroyers very shortly, I think it's a good card. Yeah.
It's a wonderful card.
The best card to cheat with and say to your opponent that the field spell rule still works the same way.
Yeah, Gear Town over Gear Town. Perfect. So yeah, we've got Alba Strike. We're all sick to the hind teeth of it because we've already seen it.
I'm already not playing it. Like I'm like looking at the Tri Brigade deck I put it in and like,
I built Lofton's first place list and I went, I'm good. I don't need to do this. I was like, I know what this deck does. And I know how to beat it. And that's with agents.
The other thing, we're literally like about 3 or 4 hours away from Ghost from the Past 2 officially coming out. I think we got Mac on the page doing a midnight open, which is going to be pretty cool.
Well, that's where the agents come from, which is probably the other new cool deck coming out that couldn't exist in the OCG because of Max C. Nice shine balls. So it's interesting that deck, having seen Dino play it, is actually secretly really, really strong. It feels similar to, I don't know, it feels similar to a deck like World Chalice.
It's almost like a Drytron. Like you've got like you've got a good couple of lines you can go through, and your inboard isn't. I mean, it's nowhere near as oppressive as Drytron.
Yeah, I wouldn't equate it to Drytron just because Drytron was sort of an FTK deck.
I'd say it was like modern Drytron, like after the first 2 waves of hits.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it just feels like one of those kind of generic combo decks. The reason I say World Chalice is because World Chalice, like, ended on a wide variety of interaction that acts like an unbreakable board, even though when you look at the individual pieces, they're not particularly strong. It's like it's a book, it's an imperm, and it's a banish, and it's a targeted banish. But it has really interesting ways of getting there, and it also presents your opponent very few opportunities to meaningfully interact with it. Ash Venus and such. So it's cool. I mean, I'm definitely enjoying watching Dino run me through the combos and kind of how it's going to look. I think it'll be a sleeper hit. I think there'll be some people who, I don't know, like top 32 or YCS. It very much feels like a one copy of the deck in a top cut kind of deck.
Totally.
You know those kind of decks like V-Dub, like Infernoid back in the day.
Yeah, Infernoid's a classic one.
Muskets just would like occasionally get a top, and you're just like, that deck's not very good, but I'm glad someone's trying.
You know what? Good for her.
Someone just had a really good day today.
Yeah, the other thing that I've noticed in the Ghost from the Past is the Alubas, obviously. Like, there's those. I think there's a Hulk reprint, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, and word is Alibur is not shorted. Everyone's suspicions that it would be like massively shorted are incorrect from what we've heard whispers of from people who've opened it for singles.
Whispers in the Willows.
Yeah, whispers in the Willows. It seems like Alibur is as shorted as every Ultra / chase card. They always have like one slot in the pack that's a chase
card. It's like your import, which
So
is like totally understandable. Like, they've got to make you buy product for a reason, but it's nice to know that on like a large case, like on a large spread, that you're not just like, wow, I have to fight for
it means
an
they'll be cheap.
Alibur. Yeah,
because if they're about one a display or 1.5 displays, I mean, if you consider the price of a box of Dammer close to the price of a display, but you have a 1 in 5 chance of pulling an Alibur from a box of Dammer, so you can see how the price is just good. And it's an Ultra, so it's not as pretty.
Not the highest rarity. Obviously, for those of us in the EU, it's the correct text. It's the correct text.
Oh, I can't wait to cheat
not a misprint.
And tell people that their card doesn't do what it says it does. Be great.
Yeah. I mean, are you guys looking forward to like getting any upgrades from Ghosts? Like, has
DDD.
anything stuck out?
DDD stuff's cool.
The DDD stuff is super cool. You get your Divine King.
I just get to play swirl slimes that are shiny, which is nice.
Absolutely. Joe, are you picking up any upgrades? Oh, maybe.
Sorry, I was just getting the dog's head out of the bin.
Get the dog on the pod. Get him on.
Sorry.
Live kids.
Please repeat the question.
Are you looking to pick up any particular upgrades from Ghosts from the past?
No.
All right.
Great. Yes, and.
I love podcasting.
I love podcasting at 20 to 10.
You just have talks with your friends. You definitely.
No, I mean, I wouldn't mind a ghost, but like that's about it. Like I've got pretty much everything that's in there already, like reprint wise. I'm not really interested in playing the agents as such, so I guess there's
watch out, sweetie.
Yeah, there's just not
I
really
want the
anything in
dad.
there. The dad, I'll take the dad. Yeah,
I think the dad is nice because it played an old deck, but also like just chuck it in branded. Why not?
Oh yeah,
Maybe I mean Eclipse Wyvern back.
I'll definitely chuck it in my Shadow multi-format deck.
Yeah. Could you imagine they brought Eclipse Wyvern back, by the way, and it's like send it off branded fusion, banish it with Albion? That sounds great. They should do that.
Chain block your Lubellion.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
And then banish with Snow. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're also, I mean, May's a huge month for releases. Obviously, I mean, Albers was supposed to be April, but you know, May for the New Zealand. And Australia. We were not the only ones that were gypped by shipping. But we do have a Dimension Force. That's due to premiere next weekend. Whether it arrives, that's another question. But we do have leaks coming out, as always, my favorite time, leak season, spoiler season. So we currently are aware of 9 of the 10 secret rares.
Really, really holding our breath to see which of the
6 cards could be.
There's like 6 things. Are you aware of the leaks, Joe? Have you been paying attention?
Some. Not a lot, to be honest, but some, yeah.
You've got me live reporting in the group chat because I'm obsessed.
So the only good ones I can think of are what? Psychic End Ruler.
Psychic End Punisher, yeah.
Ooh. Punisher, kind of kinky. But what else is good?
So you got 9. So I'll run through it.
The Albers fusion is good.
Yeah, so we've got, in terms of like 3 agents, you've got Psychic End Punisher, which is your level 11 synchro, which is amazing.
That card's awesome.
Generic, by the way, would like to just put that out. Great pickup for those if you want like a really good level 11. I was even talking about it for like a 10-year-old soul. You can just make it. Which is great. In terms of like the Scareclaw stuff, you've got the Link 3 and the Visa Starfrost. So Husbando and
Vsauce is basically a generic card, to be fair.
Absolutely.
It's kind of just like a guy, but
absolutely
technically goes in that deck.
You have the cover card, which is Odd Eyes Pendulum Graph Dragon. I believe that's its name.
That card's swag.
The Ritual Pendulum, which is super cool. We've got 2 Therians. We've got Regulus and Borea. I believe we probably predicted those. The Omni Negate and the Rhoda. That absolutely makes sense. You've got the Alba Lenitus, which is the Chimera tech for dragons and Fallen of Albaz, which is very strong.
Rip Dragon Link.
RAP Marshall in particular. Your powerful Dragon Link will be brought to its knees.
It's just so funny how like just utterly that card put Dragon Link off the map. Like there's just no chance. Like I guess if you just don't go up against branded all day, then you're fine. But like Jesus Christ.
And also like they die to Super Poly pretty hard too. So
they do. Yeah, you could just normal summon, use your fast effect priority, and just like yoink the spheres in the hot red to make Proskinian.
Yeah.
You go, think cute.
But also like
you can
just set a monster and then they have to do something or else you'd contact fuse their entire field.
Yeah, that's
insanely
really
funny.
They can't even like use the eggs to bounce your thing.
They have to bounce a face up card?
No, you can bounce any card, but
I'm pretty sure Spheres is face up only.
That's just during your opponent's turn.
I think you might be right actually, because I've never seen someone spheres a back row, which feels like a thing I would have seen.
Live research, I'll have a look.
Live research.
If
Dragon,
so, that's really funny.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
I hope that's true.
Live research.
Who would win? A giant orb.
Target one face-up card on the field.
Get wrecked, Dragon Link. Oh my god, that's so.
We
funny.
are literally setting Albaz.
So you can just set Albaz. Yeah, that's why I like.
You also get a monster is the messed up part.
Yeah.
Who's not even bad. Like it's a good creature. So
yeah. So that's the end of Dragon Link, almost.
Other secrets. What else was there?
Isn't
We're
there?
missing
There is
one.
a Libromancer secret. If I'm
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
Illegal Night, before we get onto the TCG exclusives. Illegal Night, which is an upgrade from Japan, which is very interesting.
Not surprised.
Yeah.
I could have called that.
Yeah. And then Libromancer Fire, which is the second support for Libromancer. This is pretty good. It's just at same condition as Geek Boy, and it searches a Libromancer monster. So
It's not a level 3, so it searches any Libromancer card.
Yeah.
It searches any Libromancer card.
it's a Libromancer monster. I
No?
literally have read the card. It is Libromancer monster.
I read it like 4 times. I could have sworn it just says Libromancer card.
The translation provided by Dual Daddy was incorrect, unfortunately.
Oh, was it?
Yes,
Okay.
it is Libromancer monster.
Okay, fair enough.
So those are the 9. For those keeping track at home, I might have said 8, but lol. So we don't know what the last one will be.
Beyond the Pendulum, probably.
Yeah. So you got Beyond the Pendulum as an option. Dynamorphia Ricksturm as an option.
The reason I think it's Beyond the Pendulum is because that card, there's no other, like, I guess the Odd Eyes card, but it feels like such a free agent. Like, it just says Pendulum support on it, as opposed to Odd Eyes support or anything like that, which makes me think it kind of fits that slot of, like, Underworld Goddess or, like, random Link monsters that show up and support a typing or archetype that, I don't know. It just feels like the kind of card that will be a secret.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, it's gorgeous. The artwork is so pretty. I mean, I think also like the Dynamorphia secret is like Ricksturm could be a really nice secret.
But the thing is, Dynamorphia already got like a lot of high rarity cards, so
I mean, they're fusions and ultra in the set, so
yeah, that's kind of it. I
Like-
feel like they'll get a matching ultra.
Well, that's actually a good point.
Yeah.
I didn't really think about that.
It would be weird for them to just randomly get 2 ultra fusions and then a secret fusion in the next set, because normally decks get downgraded. I don't know.
I think that's
Yeah.
it. And we don't know any Starlights.
No, no one's pulled one yet.
One thing I noted is I bought my Libromancer Geek Boys for $2.30 each, and now they're $12 each.
They did triple in price. That
Wait,
is
really?
correct.
Yeah, they went up. I don't know why.
But
like
the
it's still
support
not,
is
it's
spoiler
still-
alert, the support is terrible. The support
not-
is
it's
so
not great.
bad.
it's not wonderful. It's-
Scale of BA to Warrock.
It's like in the middle. I don't think it's quite.
below B Trooper.
Yeah, I'm kind of
B-Trooper.
I'm
B
disappointed.
Trooper had tops. This deck,
But that's not a fair analysis when the deck support isn't all out.
but B Trooper
Yeah.
had tops in the first wave.
No.
No?
Herman Hansen was using the Burst of Destiny support because you had a free level 4
Oh,
summon.
sure. But I don't
And
think
free summons.
the new support is not going to let this deck top a YCS.
I don't think
Not
so.
even close.
No.
No way. B
It's-
Troopers actually had like a pretty solid, because the thing is, Bugs was already kind of a deck. Like we'd seen James play it quite a bit with
Ballpark and Fix.
or like Papillion Control as well with Doomdozer and things like that with Resonance Insect. Like we knew that deck existed. It just needed like a payoff and some support. Whereas I don't know, like Rituals.
On-field
It-
rituals.
It just isn't a deck. Like, there's no way you can convince me that Drytron is like a die-hard ritual deck. The Drytrons themselves don't give a
Bro,
crap
they're not a ritual
about.
deck. They literally printed in Xyz. They were like,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
doing other
It's an
stuff.
Xyz and Link deck that happens to use rituals as extenders.
Yeah.
Like that's it. And
Well,
there
rituals
hasn't
are
really
the
been-
engine to spam your links out, right?
Yes, exactly. Like Ben 10 is not a ritual monster, right? It's just
Girl, that's a
when was the
tribute
last
photo.
time someone ritual summoned Ben 10 for its actual effect? Absolutely
Yeah.
not. So
Probably to win in time.
I think
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
the problem the Libromancer has, and even with the new support, it just feels clunky, right? And also is a deck that like requires you to draw both your ritual monsters and your ritual cards, and in
Yeah.
that sense, already you're
Yeah.
playing a deck that requires a good hand. Like
the issue with rituals has always been it has the same problem as fusions where it's like a neg 4 to summon a
Yeah.
ritual monster.
Yeah.
And so there's only 2 options, and fusions have decided fuse from deck is the solution,
Mm.
which is fine, if not a little bit like, it's just a little bit too good sometimes, but it's playable.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
problem
you've
with
seen,
rituals
like,
is that
like the conditions that have to be put on them.
the issue with rituals is that their solution for rituals is what if you just go plus 11, right? And it's all well and good, but that means you have to still fill your deck full of bad cards that go plus just so you can play your own mechanic, whereas at least fusion decks generally can be quite compact. So there hasn't really been a good solution to rituals. I like the magic-y idea, like making advanced
Yeah.
ritual art your core mechanic.
I think
Like, has to be from deck. That's the only solution for one of these decks to be good.
I mean Necros did it well, but like
but they don't
Necros
anymore.
did it well because because of Charit, but it was like
And
2015.
Kaleidoscope as well was a good card.
Kaleidoscope,
yeah,
very good example.
that was a
of
time
good
where you
ritual.
needed less to win, right? Nowadays you need a lot more, and rituals just don't have that unfair mechanic to keep them.
Yeah,
the
as
field
good
spell.
as season links. It's just not happening.
The field spell itself is okay. Like the fact it like rotas a card out on activation, and then is a non-once per turn ritual card that just stays on the field. That's good, but it needed something else just to be a little bit more unfair. And I think it's fallen victim to Konami's let's build really fair decks, and they never really fare well.
Them. They're calibrating, like with pendulums of late. They're trying to take a thing that has been broken in the past and calibrate how to remedy. Because Necros was definitely too far in one direction at the time.
It was too far for the time.
They were like, rituals are really underpowered. Let's print a good ritual archetype, and they went too far. And it felt like since then, if you look at stuff like Neptis or until Drytron, basically,
I mean, Shino Birds were like basically the hard reset on ritual.
Everything was really fair. What's the other one? Fendreads, I guess, was another ritual archetype. And now they're calibrating like, okay, let's ease into it and kind of like push the boundaries of rituals without just immediately breaking the mechanic again. And I feel like as much as you want to dog on Branded being OP and power creeping Shadow Fusion, it does feel kind of like the culmination of Konami trying to hone in on what a good fusion deck looks like.
Yeah.
Because Shadows at their time were too good. They had to ban a bunch of stuff. And I don't know, Despia Branded feels like a good deck, but I mean, how long has it been since we've had a good fusion deck? I mean, not since Shadows, right?
Since the research. I mean, like IDS was
Invoked was like barely a fusion deck. So it feels like this is kind of, if you wanted to call it like a masterclass or like a culmination of them working out what a fusion deck needs to look like. You know, we've all had Link deck number 37 and Synchro deck number 24 to enjoy for how long now?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, right? Or like C's deck number 115, because that's actually secretly the most broken mechanic.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's kind of nice to have them play with the underrepresented summoning mechanics. I would love to see, like, I don't know. They can't really make Gemini or Union good just because those mechanics inherently... Ritual is at least redeemable because it's a special summon mechanic.
They did Unions.
Furion kind of play like Unions in a way.
They do.
That's true.
Yeah.
But like Gemini being a normal summon, I mean, you'd have to print the Fluanderies of Gemini that just says, I don't know, you can normal summon 12 times. I don't care.
I think
it would have to be something like that.
What they needed to print really for Libromancer is like, I mean, I played that little fun deck of it, and like the Doom Broker itself is actually like an insanely good card once you get it on the field. Being able to like attack directly, like bounce a card and then set a trap. Like it's pretty decent, but like the problem is it just needed like a bigger boss or like a good payoff or like something along those lines. And I think they've definitely missed the mark with what they printed.
Well, it just leads to things like Magic-y right now is just an Auroradon deck. You know, it's when they don't print a payoff, we find a way to pay it off. And that's I think the problem. It's not that we're asking for more broken generic cards. I think if anything, the Agent deck is a really good example of a deck where they printed really nice payoffs for fairies.
And it's all in archetype.
Yeah, they don't have to play... I mean, they still play Baron, of course. They still play B-Sav, of course, because it's at its heart, it's a synchro deck. But you can end on Flare Hyperion plus Hulk plus the Trap, and that's a board, you know? That's a board that anyone will...
That's 3 pieces of interaction.
Yeah, anyone will kind of shake at, and I think that's what Libromancer is missing. Not to dog on the TCG archetype all episode, but it is kind of the only interesting... If you keep up with OCG things, and we've been talking about OCG releases, it's kind of the thing we look forward to is like, okay, TCG exclusive, let's see...
Yeah.
Can we come up with a deck that isn't just branded Despia? Because apparently that is just what we get. And I guess there is a bit of disappointment, like OCG to TCG. Oh, it's the same deck. Cool.
I think for me lately,
it hasn't changed.
I quite enjoy the TCG exclusives, and I buy them every single time they come out. Like I bought B Trooper when it came out. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna give this a go. I want this to be good. It was okay, but I don't know. I just really am waiting for the next BA or the next, good TCG exclusive like Cosmo.
The next Spiral, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was a massive fan of Cosmo back in the day, as you know, and like that was a hit, but it wasn't like a meta breaking hit, right? Like I remember, like when it came out, it was never ever the best deck of the format. It was always like in the top 3 decks, but it was never quite the top deck. And like, but I didn't really mind at the time because it was like, well, this is a cool deck the OCG doesn't have, and it kind of gives us something cool to play with that they don't get, rather than the other way around for once.
Yeah.
At the core of some of my somewhat lack of enthusiasm about the next format, like post-Alba's deck, is just that it felt like we were prescribed a deck. You know, you looked at all the OCG lists and you're like, I just can't imagine this list changing when it comes to the TCG. And lo and behold, most people are playing the sort of like conservative adventure Despia deck, and then a few people playing the patchwork version that we've known about for a while. And like, I guess as someone who likes to come up with ideas and is a bit of an expressive deck builder, there's this temptation to be like, but what if I put this in this and kind of try that out? And everyone's like, no, we've already solved it. The OCG kind of solved it. Just play the already solved version of the deck that will win more games on average.
Yeah, give it up, delicious.
Like, you know, we're all in Splight waiting room now, and there's no way you can convince me that the best version of Splight isn't the frog version when it comes over here. It's just going to be that's the deck.
Unless it is hit before it comes here. That's the only way that it changes.
So we just have to sit here for like 3 months going, well, that's the deck when it comes out, and then when it comes out, we all net deck OCG, and then that's the deck. Cool.
I won't be touching Splight. I'll be playing Exorcist.
I actually do want to play Tier Elements. I think that deck is if there is a deck to be expressive with and come up with like a build that no one's ever seen before, it'll be that deck, because that deck can literally do everything.
And you don't have to worry about Max D.
No.
You kind of know the format's relatively average when you're already like looking at other options to play that aren't the meta. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. It might just be me, but do I feel like we are so much further behind Japan, like now more than ever?
Maybe.
Or am I just wanting to have my cake and eat it too?
Are you just saying we should get rid of the gap? Because I think that's true.
Yeah. I mean, we're seeing.
I think the gap is way outdated.
It's not that the gap's bad. It's just like it feels like it's really wide.
Yeah, but I mean, Digimon had a gap, and then they made efforts to close it. I mean, they specifically designed their sets so that there wouldn't be a delay between Japan or as much of a delay between them as it was. And I know that Konami did that when Yu-Gi-Oh came out. We combined a lot of OCG sets to begin with, so there wouldn't be like this huge delay.
Yeah, like the Dark Beginnings.
Yeah. But it feels like in a world of global distribution and kind of simultaneous movie release dates and everything, it's like, why do we get things 3 months behind? It is weird.
I think it's always been a thing where you're like looking ahead and you're like, well, that format looks like it sucks. Can't wait to play that in 3 months' time. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not looking forward to some of the things that are coming out, and it does put a bit of a dampener on the TCG, because you're like, I'm kind of in, like, you know, before you'd be like, I'm enjoying this format and I know this is coming, right?
Well, just how was I supposed to come up with a deck?
Yeah.
How was I supposed to find like an avenue for something like Despia that hasn't been solved? I guess because the internet, like, there will always be
it's
people.
Kind of exactly what I was about to say. I was like, if you want to be the one that creates something, then you just have to not use the internet.
But I still think like some dude on Dueling Book coming up with a combo is different from it having repeated tournament success in a competitive environment, right? Someone could go around saying, I've got the best build of Despia branded. They could just be wrong, right? But you can look at the OCG list and go, well, it won 7 back-to-back regionals in Japan, so that probably is the best variant, and then that's the end of the book. That closed the story, right?
Yeah.
I guess that's what's hitting me about this format is like, I don't want to play the prescribed Tri-Brigade, the literally government-mandated Tri-Brigade branded deck that is currently going around, which just feels like exactly what you should. Yeah, like exactly what you should play. When it feels like realistically there should be at least a grace period where we can experiment with some of the other branded cards and have fun, maybe mixing things together. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll hold on to that one Ancient Warriors Lyrilisk Tri-Brigade branded deck from the OCG as my out. It topped. It went 601 at a Japanese event. You know, there is a success of that deck.
Didn't it have the new stuff?
No. That was like week 1. That was like one of the first decks that came out of branded was that abomination. I'm not playing Ancient Warriors though. Those cards are actually bad.
You do get the new support and it's common.
There's new Ancient Warriors cards?
Yes. I never played Three Kingdoms, so I don't know the characters. It's the
You mean Dynasty Warriors?
No, but there is the new support. It's the negate.
Yes.
Ancient Warriors.
Wait, they have a negate?
Yes. I can't remember the name because it's unfortunately it's like
I never played
ingenious-
Dynasty Warriors either. I don't know any of this stuff.
I'm glad our listeners are here for in-depth news up to the minute from the TCG.
I'm tired, man.
This is
It's-
after
it
dark.
is
This is what
ripping.
happens.
It's after dark. It's a negate. I know that much. Which is so that's in the set Dimension Force, and it's common, so relatively affordable. Speaking of another strategy that completely dodged the high print, the high rarity hit was Predaps. Actually, Predaplants are all commons,
And Ultra.
and you don't even play it because it's like worse Starving Venom. It's worse Dragostapelia. Sorry to Predapower Dragon. But that's people are quite interested about that. You still need Predator Practice though. Which, by the way, have you read Predator Practice?
Yeah, it's good.
That card's very good. All those packs of LED 5 that were open,
Finally paying off,
looking
yeah.
for a Malicious Bane
I have
or an
2 of
Adjusted
those
Gold.
guys.
We do have 2 Predator Practice, but it will be hopefully printed in LDS 3. What else is there? Magnifica, the Exorcister, is an Ultra, which is very exciting. Makes sense. Sticks on theme with the
I read the new, not the one from DIFO, but the Power of the Elements Exorcister.
Malfa.
Yeah.
Finally,
I just read it again, and I was like, huh. I guess it makes sense why this deck is topping now.
why do you think that?
I just forget that they just were like, whoops, change the rules on Exorcisters. There you go. How it says if a card leaves the graveyard, summon an Exorcister. Like, period.
Yeah,
It's just they just like were like, I know we like designed this whole archetype, but it was bad. So here's a new archetype with the same name but a completely different effect. So funny.
I guess I have one question for you guys about DIFO. Is
Oh, yes.
what do you think? What card do you reckon will impact the meta the most from that set?
It's a good
Or, like,
question.
That's
at
a
least-
great question.
If you're being safe, it's the Adventure and Alba's stuff just because those are already good decks.
I'd probably say Regulus. I
Yeah.
think the ability for Earth Machine, Therian to put up a negate with basically no work is kind of scary.
I don't think Earth Machine is a good deck, even with Regulus. I
mean,
just
also,
don't see it.
A total side note: if anyone follows Gizmic Galaxy on Twitter, Rez was like, they tweeted and they were like, "Why is Earth Machine called Earth Machine? There is literally no other machine deck in the meta, and they are 85% Earths. They should just be called Machine Deck, the Machine Deck."
We'll just call it the Earth deck.
What-
Yeah.
There's no other Earth deck, so
The door's Adamantipator open.
we'll just call it the deck, actually.
The deck.
It's just the deck.
The deck,
But that deck's
featuring
terrible.
Regulus.
And like, I always feel like there's this funny thing with Yu-Gi-Oh players where, like, a new card gets announced, and everyone comes up with this like really cute deck that it's going to be good in, and then everyone goes like,
Just kidding.
Actually, the current meta decks were the housing for the new. It's like branded. It's like, oh my god, my Lunalight. Actually, no, just play the Despia deck that was already good, or the Tri-Brigade deck that was already good. And it kind of feels that way with Earth Machine. It's like, finally, Earth Machine's moment to. Actually, this card is just not going to do anything for the deck that was already not topping. You know what I mean?
It's an unsearchable 3 of.
When was the last time a card, like one card, turned a deck from? I guess it's the Exorcist from Power of the Elements. Actually, I'm
Double
gonna shut my
Helix,
mouth.
maybe?
Double Helix is pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Double Helix is
Like
pretty good.
or even like a non-archetype card that's like, oh, this card is so good with this deck that
That grass was
it
greener.
doesn't. Yeah, there's a good one.
I mean,
Wow, Joe with the
Joe's
today.
been around for a while for sure. but-
Old man Joe.
old man Joe.
yeah.
But yeah, definitely like there's a lot of the time people kind of really hype up a card. It's like it's gonna make, my deck tier 1, and it's like I don't think it works that way. Regulus is good. It's also a very, very fair card.
Yes.
You have to trade playing basically an unplayable card in your hand in your opener that with setup becomes a fair Omni. Like a very fair Omni negate.
I wouldn't say very fair.
I'd
Because
say very fair.
I'd say it's fair because if you play more Therians, you get more than one negate.
Yeah. In pure Therian, it's good, but then you're playing pure Therian. And let
Oh,
me
no,
tell
you're
you,
not playing pure Therian. You're putting it as an engine.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
You can
Punk,
bin them to
yeah.
grave. Yeah, Punk is really the
But
one
it's like the
that's
cross
standing
out / my deck's good with Dragoon / my deck's good with Adventure thing. It's like my deck's good with Regulus. It's like, is your deck good with Regulus, or is Regulus good and your deck is bad?
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep
Yeah.
coming for Earth Machine. Look,
Machine.
Earth.
The deck.
The dick.
I don't know. I guess maybe I'm just venting because I always am this person that thinks the new card is going to make their deck good, but it really does have to be a significant change. So
so am I. But you know what the difference is? I buy them and go,
That's true.
why do these cards not work?
I'm not going to buy Earth Machine. Hell no. I'll play like Katakuri with regulars. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
I need 3 potatoes.
Yeah, but like
I think
that
the
would be
set
cool.
overall isn't terrible. It's not
No.
a great set, but it's not a Oblivo. It's not a.
I think there's a lot of cards that are going to be busted ass.
What's your
cards.
pick? What's your pick for the one card that'll impact the game? John.
Probably, I'll be boring and say the Albaz Fusion just because it
It is.
You
no,
guys
you're
are so lame. I can't.
Do you want us to
I
be
know.
wrong? Like, what do you mean? None of these
it's
cards
just-
are going to see topping decks.
Bro,
Except
I can't believe I'm podcasting with 2 jars of mayonnaise. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Visa Starfrost is going to really shake up the branded meta. I mean, like, that card's good. Not yet, right? Like, it's going to be good.
I think the reason
Not
I say
yet.
the Albaz Fusion is just because it can like almost remove one of the decks away from being up the top, if that makes sense. Like with Dragon Rollers. Just having a look at what else. There's not.
I actually think there is a chance.
Oh, actually, I know. I'll take it all back. I'm going to say the level 11 Synchro.
Psychic and
Psychic and
Punisher.
Yeah,
I mean, the card's cool. I don't think
it's cool.
It's like
No, I know,
it's like
I know.
another Final Sigma that you can.
I like
play.
it though. I like
But-
it.
Gross better than Final Sigma.
Final Sigma's pretty good.
Unaffected, banish, gain attack.
Yeah. Like they're both
Take it
good.
all back. Actually, it's definitely Libramancer Misty Girl.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not going to say flip jar. The disrespect. The
I think
disrespect on the pod.
I think maybe the one, and I'm willing to just be wrong, but I just want it to be right so bad. The one deck that we might see come out of this that is sort of unexpected is going to be the plant deck. Similar to how B Trooper was kind of a deck but wasn't good. Sun Avalon.
I will say that I will agree with you once Power of the Elements comes out.
Yeah. Like Sun Avalon is currently, I'd say, tier 3. Like it is actually quite good. And the problem with it is that it does a lot and then it doesn't necessarily have a goal in mind. It can kind of just spin its wheels.
What do we
And-
say? No, all engines and no
Yeah, exactly. But the
No
plant
car.
Therian is a searcher, right?
no car. Yeah, Borea Search is a Therian.
You can play a Therian engine in plants now to get a Regulus on top of what I would already consider to be a good board. Like Earth Machine is literally Citadel Pass with the double-headed Anger
like-
Knuckle.
Yeah,
So-
Anger Knuckle, Citadel.
I don't
Bora.
consider that to be a good end board. Whereas the plant deck is like Bengalancer, Bloom, plus, you can do some Rika stuff, and then a Regulus. Like, yes, you get locked into plants, but like, it's kind of a rotational thing, and like,
That's so fine. I agree with you. Post Power of the Elements once
Like, I
the
feel
Rika
like
support comes
Plant
out.
Therian was a thing in the OCG, and Plant is currently a deck here. So, in theory, there is maybe a synthesis of those two decks
Yeah.
that could see some fringe success, which would be
They
cool.
also, did
Or
we
is it
discuss this previously?
photosynthesis?
Ooh,
Ooh.
now we're
Did we
talking.
discuss this, or do they have 2 Lone Fire still?
I think they actually might still have Lone Fire too, which is quite funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think plants is such an interesting one. I think we've
Yeah.
even talked about this before, but plants are just a strategy that exists just
Yeah.
like outside the orbit of
Well, you also-
Konami metagame.
You have the broken interaction, right? Where it's like Lone Fire, get Mardell, search the Therian, equip the Lone Fire.
Yep.
like-
search your thing.
There's
and
no
then
way you
make
can tell me that's
Jasmine.
not good. That seems really good.
Yeah.
That does seem
Yeah,
really
I'm,
good.
I'm interested in it. I think that's one thing to look out for in DIFO, and probably something to pick up if you are interested in holding on to things for when they get good.
yeah,
So
Sun
just
Avalon's
wait
pennies, I
until
would
we have
know.
them.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I feel like I'm gonna kind of just ignore the fact that one deck's gonna be up the top. There'll be a
Kind
few
of,
other
yeah.
of the same.
I really
around.
don't think it's that good.
That's
I mean, hey, look,
I think
the-
It's by far the best deck.
I think the strategy is incredulous. I just think that the ceiling of it is not the T.
But we
No,
haven't, I don't
but-
think Yu-Gi-Oh's cared about ceiling for a while
I
because the
think-
ceilings have all been low.
it's definitely like a very consistent deck, right? And that's what's going to
Yeah.
be what gives it the tops, what gives it the consistency to take
it,
out
it
all
is
these
what,
major
it's what
tournaments.
is giving it those.
Since Dragon Link got neutered, we haven't had a high ceiling deck. Like
No.
it just hasn't existed. Unless you want to play a fringe rogue deck that like can technically end on 12 negate. I think full power Dragon Link with like LP and all of the like, or even if you want to go back as far as Link Cross, but I think even the like LP Dragon Link boards were pretty nasty. And
they were pretty bad, yeah.
Kind of felt like one of those like, did you draw Dark Ruler or not decks? We haven't had one of those in a while, and I feel like the ceiling of every deck. Like, what the hell is Tri Brigade?
Mirror Jade
Nothing.
Revolt Pass.
You end on nothing. What is Sword Soul doing? Nothing going. Like, none of these decks are very good. Actually, the Lureless Tri Brigade deck was kind of one of those decks. I'll give it that.
She was that girl.
Yeah. That deck was pretty nasty. Glad they banned it.
I mean, it's actually a conversation I had earlier in the week, and like a lot of the current like top decks just lose to 2 hand traps most of the time, and like that's been a thing for a while.
Let's talk about it. The resurgence of cross art.
Yes,
That's coming back.
It's literally almost in every deck.
Yeah. Cross art is making itself known.
I think that falls in the same argument I was making with Adventure too. It's like, is it that good? Like, no, but it raises the floor of your deck. Like, it turns a 5-card hand into a 4-card hand, but it's a 4-card hand that on average will more likely resolve, and the Rite of Aramis in your hand makes it a 3-card hand that's more likely to resolve. Like, all of these cards are just like insulation, basically, because of the way the format works. You're kind of like, you start the game with a knife point at your throat. And a lot of decks are just built trying to pull that knife away a little bit so they have some room to combo. And that's what Cross Out and Right feel like. Just kind of, let me just play. Come on. I know you've got a hand of 4 hand traps. Just let me do something.
Yeah. I think Cross Out is like definitely finally seen play. We spoke about it at length, and we have spoken about it multiple times. I think it's just because like purely Branded Fusion is such a powerful card. You need an answer to it in your own deck, and why not play it, right? Like, because
it's also a nice answer to like, I don't want to play into Tactics.
Yeah, that, and also Ash. I mean, like, you need to play through the Ash, like banish like that as well. And we even saw in, I think, Pack's list, a few other people's list, the classic OCG 1/1/1/1 on hand traps. And and it's finally seen play, and my $80 a copy is feeling okay again.
It's starting to creep up, actually.
They are clickety crickety,
but it kind of feels like Tactics in the realm of like, could you play without it? Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
Is Tactics actually a good card?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I think so.
It's good.
Yeah.
But like every time you play it, it could have been a different card in your hand.
Yeah.
It's not like a card like Droplets where it's like, I know it's a droplet in my hand.
It feels like a format dependent card.
Yeah, like every time I draw Droplet, I know exactly what it's going to do. Whereas Tactics is just still one of these cards. It's like, it was good.
I mean,
was it better than Chalice? Was it
we're
better
even
than
seeing Droplet probably won't be as good the coming format, right? Because I mean, it's still good, but like it's not as good because
it's not really putting in the work. That's my only concern.
Yeah,
like
most people are just putting in one or 2
Jade.
monsters. Yeah, and then like you may as well just use a Chalice at that point, or use like an Imperm at that point, right?
I mean, Chalice is crazy.
Chalice, I think, is really coming back.
I think honestly, if you like analyzed my games, Chalice is one of my highest rates as a card.
Yeah.
I think it's madly slept on. And also Crow is slept on right now.
I think Crow is really the hand trap du jour. I think people...
If you care about beating Despia.
Yeah.
It's way better than Bell.
Less good than Bell, because obviously Branded Lost is a bastard. And also, it punishes like the double opens of cards.
Well, it also like can't Bell Albion, right? But you can Crow an Albion and like completely screw over a Despia turn 1 setup.
Yeah.
And also it plays under Branded Lost. It's also proactive. It's also like good against Rogue. It's good against so many things. I mean, maybe I'm just biased because it's really good with Tri Brigade. I think the card is playable at 3 right now over... People are still playing Imperm. It feels weird that Imperm is taking a slot over something like Crow in a format where like who's using monster effects on the field? No one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alaba? Sure, man. That's fine.
Yeah, like your Mirror Jade, you have the Mercuria to protect it anyway. Like that's not really.
Well, that negates monster effects, but
Oh, fierce. See, I don't even know what these cards do. Great research
don't
coming
need
to
to,
you live from a. I don't need to
we
because
got
I'm
the
not playing
cards.
it.
We can just read them.
Yeah, I'll just pick it up and read it.
I'm playing. I would love to play 3 Mercuria actually.
Oh, speaking of free obs, the freebie free up in Hamilton. I can make the
That's this
announcement
month, isn't it?
that
Yeah,
I
it's
am coming up for it.
Yeah, the
And
face
meeting you
downs
guys
will be
Yeah.
getting a vengeance
Absolutely.
with
Yeah, we
actual
will
testing this time.
come second to last rather than last this time. But wait, where did we come
We did
last
not
time?
come
I don't,
last.
I don't remember
Came
where we came.
third.
What if we just win? That's fine.
Oh, we could just win. Yeah, we could try
Third?
that. No, we didn't
Third
come
to
third.
last.
Third to last. Oh no, I think we came. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. We didn't. I think we
jury's
came in
still
the
on
middle
that one.
somewhere. Yeah, but no, we'll come back with a vengeance. Maybe. Can't promise anything.
No, we will. Don't
But
say
we-
maybe.
Vendred. No.
Vendred?
If you
Vendred
sit down
Battle
from us,
Lord?
if you sit down against us, it's over. I'm sorry. I'm calling it right now. We're gonna be
Hold
so
on.
good by then. I'm gonna train the hell out of it.
Yeah, Ruben will read the branded cards at some point from now till then.
Just like
Yeah.
someone
That's
read,
so shady.
just like my opponent read Griffin Rider and then Vashooted it. That was funny. That was like the only good play I made. My opponent's misplay there.
That was pretty good, actually.
I love
I
when people
will-
don't read.
Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to it though. That's going to be a pretty huge weekend. I think there's a couple of us coming up from Palmy again this time, so it'd be good
That
to
is
see
gonna
everyone
be a
again.
very large weekend.
As long as the virus doesn't get in the way. Yeah, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that. There's also the regional the next day. You'll see me there with my Libromancer Flame taking out the event.
Nice.
You better.
Yeah,
I'll pull all the judge calls in your favor. I'll be like,
Oh,
no,
please.
Joe can do that.
yeah.
No, Fire clearly says add a Libromancer.
It doesn't. It
Look at
just
this-
doesn't
look
say
at this,
monster.
yeah.
Look at this. Look at this. Misprinted. Yeah.
Yeah, a Neuron says card. It's crazy. You can pre-prep also on that deck. Total side note, you can pre-prep now.
Cool.
Oh yeah. Yay.
I love pre-prep.
No, I know. It's just like every ritual deck is like, and you can play pre-prep. It's like, yeah,
That
they
makes it
all
bad.
can. They're all
It's like-
bad. What do you want?
Yeah.
It's like patchwork.
I'll go play
It's like
Lord of the
patchwork.
Red. What do you? Yeah,
Yeah, but literally patchwork.
It's patchwork.
Except
But
you're-
bad.
but-
but it's in a fusion deck, which means it's good. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Am I gonna play
Damn.
Mega Zaborg again? Am I gonna play that bad Lord of the Red deck? Like, what do you want?
Yeah.
You should.
That
I
deck
think-
was actually so funny.
Speaking of big things as well, next week we will have finally the painful choice. I think we're going to pull the trigger on it.
Yeah, sure. Why
Yeah,
not?
well,
Why not?
next update will be in a few months.
Few
So
months,
Alpha
so-
just made a ban list video, so that's like.
Oh
the,
yeah, we'll go by
that's
that.
like-
then.
I was gonna say that's the groundhog seeing its shadow, right?
Yeah.
Winter is over and
Yeah.
it's ban list season again.
I think it is. Like, I mean, surely it is. Like, I reckon
And-
it'll be just after DIFO, maybe.
What if
Maybe?
they just never banned another card?
Oh, please.
I think people would take umbrage with that decision.
To be fair, they probably don't need to ban anything. There's no one card that I'm like, oh, this whole game sucks because there's like Verte's annoying, but like it's not an unbeatable or uninteractive card. It's very fair. You pay life points. I've won several games to people activating it. Like it's not a
Yeah.
Protoss. It's not a Gumblar. It's not like a
It's just unintuitive, which
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think is
yeah.
what they want to avoid their game to become. Because again, what is it? What's the phrase? Familiarity breeds contempt. If you know this format too much,
I think
you
that's
will
it.
hate the game.
like I think most ban list inspiration comes from I'm sick of this. Ban it.
I
Yes,
think
good.
as well,
I
like
guess.
the way the game feels at the moment is like when you've bought a loaf of bread. It's been in your fridge for like 3 or 4 weeks, and you're a bit like, it's a bit mold. There's a little bit of mold on it. I'll just scrape that off. Put that in the toaster, but it has that weird, like, kind of stale taste. And that's the game. Is that piece of toast? It's
I know that
kind of
feeling.
like kind of disappointing, and I want a fresh loaf.
I would like a fresh loaf of bread.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I want a nice like bakery loaf.
But
or
like we're
something,
not getting it.
No, we're not.
You know, like
But that's fine.
we're never
because-
gonna get like a reset ban list.
Because you know what you make with stale bread? French toast, and that's
Yeah.
delicious. So I feel like
Yeah.
what we're taking right now is cooking lessons, but also we're also taking the current situation and potentially making it better.
I'm just kind of interested because like I don't think they need to ban a single. Like personally,
Hmm.
if I was just like gun to my head, do they need to ban anything? I'd be like, nah, nothing's really. Everything's kind of equally as powerful as each other. It doesn't really
Just kill
feel
prank
like...
kids.
Yeah, okay, I'll buy it.
Yeah. Just...
honestly, for me, it will just be Verte as the only card I would see banned.
Yeah.
Like Scythe, spoiler alert, does nothing going forward.
Well, that's the thing, though, right? It's like there's always these kind of ban list predictions. It's like this card has to go. This card. It's like Hulk's been on the list like every time.
I never once thought Hulk was going to get banned.
I didn't say you,
but like
I said everyone else is always like Hulk's getting banned, and it never has, and it's never felt like Hulk, hilariously, was ever the problem card in most of these decks.
No, girl, it was Link Cross. That was the problem card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They went, oh, do you want to synchro with that tuner you just summoned? Oops. Yeah. You know.
But that's the thing. Like, everyone always asked for Hulk to get banned, and it didn't. The game hasn't died.
I think Konami just needs to scrape the mold off the bread.
They just need to ban every stupid floodgate. Like,
yeah,
the only bans that I've looked at in the last few years that have been like, yeah, that's totally, they should have banned that. It's, Protoss, IO, Gumblar. Like, it's not a floodgate, but fuck. You know what I mean? Like every kind of like dumbass floodgate pass deck has kind of had to be banned, and everything else has kind of felt fine. I don't think Harp Horror still needs to be banned. Like, who cares, man?
No, I'd love to see a mass exodus, but I think that like everybody would. Like
every interactive card should just come off the list, and every floodgate card should go on.
I think it just put Snow back on there.
Way cooler.
Because why not?
I don't know.
But like Snow's fun in contention with other broken stuff, right?
I wouldn't call it
I
fun.
don't know, because like you can't, if you make holes, what you use to fill the holes doesn't fill the holes.
No, but I think an equilibrium of interactive broken cards is more fun than like the formats we've had where we've all centralized on one floodgate broken card. You know? Like a deck that's playing like the... Well, it's a bad example. Hydralander BA deck, but that did play a lot of floodgates. But like the decks that...
Yes, it did.
There's a difference between decks like Adamancipator that leveraged not letting you play the game, and decks like Agents or Megalith that like leveraged interacting with you in broken ways, not necessarily in like you don't get to play the game.
Megalith literally played Magician of Black Chaos.
Only
Black.
Dino did that.
No. There literally were other people doing
zero topping lists with that deck.
Because it was in a literal pandemic. It was in a literal pandemic. I know, but like every deck will find a way to utilize a card that says your opponent cannot play the game. I mark my words.
Despia literally does not have one. So I don't know what you're talking about.
If it did,
Despia just interacts with you.
But if it did, it would.
Yeah, of course. But it doesn't, and that's what I'm saying. Like decks like that, I never think need to get banned. Right? Like Orcus never... I guess like the Winder Ding interaction, depending on where you lived, was...
It was pretty broken wherever you lived.
Yeah, but again, it was like an interaction deck. I think those are always fun. Because you can also always find ways to counter interactive decks, like System Down against Orcus or things like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think your reasoning is flawed.
I just think decks should let you play. And I think there are a lot of...
But I feel like that's an old mentality. That's boomer Yu-Gi-Oh mentality.
I don't think that's wrong. I think
but I'm not saying
there's an element
wrong.
of the boomer Yu-Gi-Oh mentality that's like, yeah, floodgates are bad.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying it's very clearly not how the game's being played right now. And if you're looking forward to Power of the Elements, that's absolutely not what's happening.
What I'm saying is they should ban all the cards that make the game like that. Because pretty much every time one of those cards surfaces, it has to get banned. Right?
I think
we've literally seen Protoss and IO, and probably we'll see. Yeah,
Scythe, like for me, and I know this is a bit of
that category.
Scythe for me, like, and I know this is a bit of a spoiler alert for next weekend, but yeah, I think it's a card that should just go for the fact that like, yes, it's not going to be great next format, but then the format after it could be great again, and it's just like just get rid of it. So it's not a problem again. Like, just... Yeah. It's bad card design. Just get rid of it.
Konami waits for a card to be exploited and then ban it. It always feels like we still have to endure a multi-month format of going, yeah, Protoss is fine, bro. Cool, next. Like,
I mean, if Protoss was still around...
It always sucks every time they do it.
I feel like Sword Soul...
I don't think if Protoss was around, you would not be... It's not a concern.
I don't know. I think Protoss right now
The
against
difference is
would be-
VFD said you couldn't attack.
Yeah. But like, it's a similar argument of just like VFD. Yeah, cool, bro. You like, there's no bad players can just win by going VFD, and you're like, yeah, I have a great hand and I'm a good player. Can't do anything. Bye. Same with IO when you're playing a spell deck. Just like, yeah, no.
I mean, that's what
Didn't even
makes. I know a bit off topic here, but what makes skill drain it? I know it's a bit of a, card like it, but makes it slightly better is the fact that you can still get around it in ways.
You pretty much do everything. Skill drain.
Yeah.
You literally do everything on the skill drain.
Like, you can't use on-field monster effects. When you
Which
read
is-
it that way,
It's
there
not
are
gr-
no non-on-field spell effects. It's like IO is just so much better because it hits every single spell card except grave effects, which is quite rare, I'd say.
But is free skill drain still too much? Probably. But at the same time, has it really impacted the meta the way we thought it would?
I don't think
That's-
it was
that's-
impacted.
I think
no, bro. They've literally printed Draco back.
Yeah, it created like an archetype of pure Eldritch, but other than that, kind of.
I think
what I
it's
expected.
definitely brought Eldritch up to the front though. Like we're still seeing them in the YCSs, like getting heaps of tops, which is like, come on.
Yeah, both versions actually. It's not skewed one way or another.
I've never had someone flip skill drain and the game is over though.
No, but you also play VDub, so I guess
Yeah, you're coming from an unfair angle.
Sure, but like,
because like your dex metric is not measured by other people's. I've literally had people flip skill drain and I've lost the game because I can't play it in flow.
Well, I'm not saying I have never lost. I'm just saying like, there's never been a case where someone has like resolved a skill drain and then all the cards in my hand say nothing, zero text.
I am the opposite story to you. Someone has resolved skill drain and my cards have no text on them.
Which deck?
Fluwanda.
But like, you have outs.
Girl, not when they flip back and go 35-25 kill you with
like,
DPE.
Like, you can still Robina Chain Advent. Like, you can still do stuff. It's not like Mystic Mummy, you can't activate the effects. Is what I'm saying is like, you still have technically got plays in your deck. When someone flipped IO and you were playing Striker and it resolved, you did not have plays in your deck anymore. Your deck now was nothing, and you had to scoop unless you currently held the out that you could chain to it. And the same goes for Protoss. Did you have
it's definitely
an Imperm? No. Well, now your Phantom Knight deck instantly loses on the spot and literally cannot play.
I think it's
So
a
you should
high.
ban all those cards.
It's a high impact, right? It's a high impact floodgate, but I wouldn't say it's like as unfair as an IO.
No, but it was
and
still...
that's why IO is banned and skill drains are free, right?
Yeah, for sure. Again, the cards just, even though they read the same, they do utterly different. Kind of interesting. 'Cause on paper, as a Yu-Gi-Oh player, you'd think like, oh, those cards are equally as good. One negates spells, one monsters. But it's just the nature of how monsters work is a little bit more fair, I'd say.
Yeah.
Interesting
But anyway,
stuff.
we'll definitely get more into that next week when we do a painful choice. I'm thinking we may do it video wise, but we'll see when we get there.
Hopefully, I'd love for people to tune into our
that would be
first
cool,
YouTube video.
That's true. We could do a YouTube video.
Yeah, I
Absolutely
think
do one.
we can definitely share a
talk more
screen and
about
not have webcams up and stuff. I think we can try work it out. Yeah.
We can talk more about ban-worthy floodgates.
Then, yeah.
For the heart's content, yeah.
Just full video content. So be sure to check out that one.
I'm just gonna like do a hit list of just 5 cards I don't like, and just say why I don't like
that's
them.
definitely what I'm doing.
Because to be fair, I don't think that much is getting banned, so we might as well have fun with it.
Again, I've never taken our painful choices like these cards must go.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's more of a.
It's like these cards should come back.
Or like
That's
let's
what's
talk
great about the
these
painful
cards.
choice. Is the fact that often we talk about 4 cards that can come back and 1 card that can be banned. So and for those that haven't listened to the painful choice before, Ruben, do you want to just take people through what it is to?
Yes. Oh my god, it's probably our favorite thing we've ever created. I think it's like a random. It was an idea that Lucas and I had the very first COVID-19 lockdown that New Zealand went through, and it's a concept of taking 5 cards within the game that are either on or off the ban list at this moment in time, and then making an adjustment where you would change it and giving some reasoning as to why, and then you present your 5 options and the other people select one, which I think is super, super cool. And then we include a little bonus section, bonus section. It's called the Snatch Steal. Obviously, for those who aren't aware, Snatch Steal is a card that very famously was unbanned and then banned after a format had
what
passed.
we call the Fairy Tale Snow of cards.
Oh, preemptive.
The Zodiac Trident of cards.
No, at least Trident lived a good time. Snatch Steal, 3 months. So we take one card that is currently banned and make an argument for it to be put to 1.
Or 3, if we feel really spicy.
Really, like it should be.
But just like a card that's kind of more of like a...
Oppressive,
I know it's not going to live more than one format, but it would create in this current format kind of a funny moment, right?
Yeah.
Chaos. Yeah. Just like absolute chaos.
It's like a Calypso Wyvern. What if we just brought it back for a format and just saw, like, just to see what people could do with it? And I mean, I would have put Fairy Tale Snow in that bracket, and we've certainly seen that card do some stuff.
Yeah.
So it kind of feels like Konami's on the same page these days. They could still bring back a Grinder Golem anytime. There isn't currently a good Link deck. So like,
Girl, what are you talking about?
what's a good Link deck right now?
Adventure?
What Link monsters does it make? Verte? That's not a Link deck. I mean, like a deck that's just like a literal U-Link.
You can't normal summon if you use Grinder Golem, though.
Yeah, not Prank Kids. But like, there's no U-Link deck, and that makes me sad, because that's kind of a funny archetype.
You are Little Miss Flip-Flopperella. I don't want to deal with floodgates in the game. I'll U-Link my opponent.
U-Link is not a floodgate. Shut up. Who cares about U-linking anyone?
I suppose Master Rule 5 did kind of address that.
Oh no, I've been U-linked. Normal Moye. It's like, who cares?
Girl, what do you... I've been U-linked. Fractal? Cool pass.
Yeah.
They deserve it. If you play Tri-Brigade, you deserve it. Also, what do you mean they go branded fusion? Easy.
I cannot with you. You are team too much.
A U-link is not
team too much.
You are team too much. If you think a U-Link is a floodgate, let us know.
When was the last time someone lost to a U-Link? In fact, if you lost to a U-Link ever in MR5, write in, because I want to hear.
And also, Breaker Dudes, we are actually going to be playing under the banner of Team Too Much at the 3v3. So,
Team Too Much.
Team Lucas was wrong.
Team Lucas is smoking crack. Yeah. Crack smoking Lucas.
I don't think a U-Link is a floodgate. I think it was a floodgate.
Definitely
in MR4. Yeah. Absolutely, it was like a win condition in MR4.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is right now, if you brought U-Link out...
literally building... What? You played Fluonderees into Despia, and you're like, oh, U-Link, what a problem.
Yeah. I mean, right now it wouldn't be.
That's what I do. I'm selfless.
Tri-Brigade players do not deserve...
Whoa.
You don't deserve.
Yes, I'm saying that. I'm saying if I get U-Linked and I'm on Tri-Brigade, I deserve to lose. I think that's fine.
You deserve to activate Branded Fusion.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, dear.
Well, as always, what a fabulous episode of After Dark. Heated conversations, rambles, and musings from 10:30 p.m. in New Zealand. As always, thank you so much to everyone who has listened. If you are listening to us on YouTube, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and share it with a friend. It helps tremendously. If you're listening on your preferred podcasting method, please rate us and leave a review. That also helps a lot. And if you think U-linking is or is not a floodgate, if you've been U-linked in 2020 onwards and lost, let us know. You can write in along with any questions, queries, comments, or concerns to thefacedowns@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitters, though on our Twitters they will be linked in the YouTube description below. And as always, thank you so much for listening. I'm Ruben.
I'm Lucas.
And I'm Steve.
Oh, and you've been listening to The Face Downs.
The Face Downs.
Dark.
Oh.
No, you go. You do yours.
Jerry Beans, man.
After Dark.
After Dark. Yeah, there we go.
Fabulous.